Forward. Yay, we're working. Perfect. So thank you everyone for waiting. So let's do this. I love to do this. This is from my love coaching days. But if everybody will just take a moment and just close your eyes and take a nice deep breath. And I want you to really get in touch with what you are here in this class to receive. And even I want to see if you can feel that in your body somewhere. Just get in touch with wherever it pops up. The unconscious mind is brilliant. And just really let yourself, for a moment, even see if you can feel that receiving expand. Imagine receiving exactly what you need from this class. See how that fills up your body. It might be that you have $5,000 you want to make in the next 40 days. It might be that you want to sell 20 pieces of your merchandise. But just try and for size, see how that feels, receiving that. Because what I will tell you is that underneath everything else, there is absolutely the need for you to not sabotage your success, the need for you to take risks, be vulnerable, be transparent, the need for you to not know all the answers and be receptive to new answers. And if that's in alignment, then we can get a lot more done during our time together today. So feel free to open up your eyes if you'd like. It's probably a good idea. And let's get started. I'm going to take a risk tonight. I am big at practicing what I preach. So last week I had said on the chat room, please don't do stuff unless I give you questions. But today I was thinking, you know what? The really powerful part of Ustream and why people really like it is because of the chat. So go for it. You can do whatever you want to in the chat tonight. We'll see how that goes. And I wanted to let you know I'm going to be adding Q&A calls. So rather than answering all of your questions tonight, certainly in the online forum, I am in there a lot and answering questions there. But additionally, I know that in past classes I've been in, if someone takes up 15 to 20 minutes asking a question that I know the answer to, my needs aren't being met. And I am really committed to being here and delivering the content that was promised and delivering the transformation and having you all meet your goals. So chat away if you'd like. And as she looks for her notebook, a couple other things I just want to go over quickly. So last week we had talked about contacting 3 of your customers or ideal customers if you don't have clients already, and asking them what they have loved about working with you, what they have hated about working with you, and asking for their input. So feel free to chat away and let me know if you got that done. I will tell you it was very challenging for me. And it was the one assignment I didn't want to do from last week. And I absolutely had 2 people drop out of the sky and tell me exactly what I needed to hear about things. And I still have 1 more person to call. So I also see in the chat no one is responding. Let me make sure it's not on slow. But I think, nope, we see no responses. So I will say, wherever you are picking up in the course, I know that there are new people who've listened to last week who've joined us, or people who may not have listened to the last one to begin with. But this is what's going to be important. I'm giving you potent homework. It's not loads of homework. It is not time consuming to the nth degree. These could be 3 5-minute phone calls. And what's also important about it is you're reaching out and you're being social with people and asking for input. It's absolutely going to change the dynamics of your business, and it's an excellent task to do in order to be brave enough to do what you need to do in terms of social media. So good. I see someone did it. Wonderful. And got positive. That's great. Keep going until you get 3. I really honestly think that getting negative feedback from people, I got negative feedback from someone this week that was really powerful. It's stuff that I needed to know. And in a day and age where everything is so transparent, I mean, just imagine 10 years ago if you were dealing with a store where people came in and out, or if you were dealing with a coaching practice or something where people came in and out. Really getting their honest feedback is going to be tremendously difficult. People just normally were not doing that, and I see someone even commenting that they've not gotten feedback. And what I would say is people have, somebody wise say to me, a third of the people will love you, a third of the people will hate you, a third of the people won't even notice you're there. And I think it's true. And sometimes we can all learn from feedback. So just as much as it's important to have people telling you you're amazing and have raving fans in social media, I would also say, you know, the currency today is relationships. And so honestly, any client that I've ever had who has been truly unhappy, I have been able to switch those into some of the most loyal, long-term, and profitable relationships in my career. So those are gold mines. Those are gold mines most of the time. And what I would also offer for the person who's not gotten any feedback after shipping their scrubs, if something is not working, something is broken. And you'll hear me say that a lot. But if what you're doing is not working, you need to do something else. So perhaps you make a phone call to people and ask. People love that kind of customer service. The person that I work out with sent me a text today and said, just reminding you, you have a 2 o'clock appointment. It was so nice of her. Now, I know it's based on the fact that last week I was really late. I think that maybe that's what I have absolutely no idea, honestly, what it was based on. But I felt so loved. People love interaction. And in a day and age where we've got social media and you can be interacting with people all the time, profit is, the sky's the limit. So I'm going to reach over and grab my notebook, and we're going to talk about some other key things. The first of which, and grab your pen and paper, is your 3-person assignment for this week. So keep the assignments going. If you didn't get last week's done, still put it on a list. If you don't even get it done until you are through with this class, that's okay also. It is something that will be profitable no matter. It's something, quite frankly, you should have every 3 months on your calendar, that you just pick 3 random people and you find out how they felt about working with you or buying your products. So the second 3-person exercise is, and some of you may have heard me speak about this if you were at the Savor the Success Women Entrepreneurs Rock the World. This week we're really focusing on target market, and what we really want to think about is this. Who are the 3 people that could help your business the most? Now that could be, I told a story at Rock the World about Shaq, the basketball player. Someone wrote and said, my 11-year-old is in a competition, he'd love to hear from you. I don't even know if he said he'd love to hear from you. And the little boy got a phone call from Shaq. How amazing is that? So I want you to think concretely about the 3 people, and they can be people you know, they can be buyers, they can be media, it can be the president, I don't care who it is. We've got someone on the call who actually got a thank you note from the president. That's pretty freaking cool that the president and his wife thanked you for a gift basket you sent of your product. Like, that's amazing. And even if it's something like that, you can absolutely leverage and use that via social media, even if you're not in a conversation all the time with Michelle Obama about how she likes the lotion. So I want you to contact 3 people that could absolutely change your business. And I want you to think up. That's something that I'll talk about a lot. Instead of thinking of the 20 people who you need to buy your shawls in the next month, or the time frame, whatever it is, K, what I want you to think about is who's the one person that if they said on their page, oh my gosh, I am so in love with my shawl, 20 people would come right to you. The brilliant thing about social media is it isn't just about you finding people who can buy one. You have access to millions of people. And if you haven't watched the Socialnomics reissue of the video that is posted in the forum, I don't know why. If you watch that every morning when you first wake up, it lets you know that things are limitless and that social media is simply the tool. So Before we talk more about target market, just a couple of other things I want to mention, and here are some social media like nuts and bolts for people. So everyone who has listed their LinkedIn account, their Twitter account, all of those sorts of things on the forum, I've been following. And I am waiting with bated breath to retweet you, to like your posts, to get in the conversation. And this is what I will say. Here's some just tips off the top of my head. First off, if your portrait on your page is your icon or your logo, switch it. Put a picture of you. And it may not work. It's always good to change those things around. It's like a store changing their merchandise. But what will happen is if people see a logo, they feel like it's a business, and they're most likely not going to want to friend you, or they possibly will not also, and I see people asking questions, and I love you, and I'll be doing Q&A later on a different call. Yeah. So they will not feel that it's personal interaction, and they won't post as much interaction. I'm just going to move over on top of the chat because I'm getting distracted. I want to answer your questions. So try that. Additionally, when you tweet, the information you need to put out, either I would suggest at this beginning point is retweetable. So it's facts, it's interesting pieces of information. I actually would not quote anyone else unless it is so deeply in your passion and it's a new quote you just found out about. You know, if I hear Michael Beckwith say something amazing, some days I cannot stop myself. And that's fine because that's who I am, and I know that people respond to that in my pages. But one piece of doing tweets or doing posts can be information that you're providing content to people, and I think that that's really important. Another quick trick is put a question mark at the end of things. Instead of being like, here's our new merchandise, be like, here is our new merchandise, how do you like it? With a question mark. That invites interaction as well. And then the other important thing that I'm going to say is, based on watching what you all are doing, you need to be posting on Facebook once a day. Not 4 times right now until you build some traction. Some days I'm like, oh, but I need to talk about something else. It's so important. And I know the post before it didn't get traction. And it was like today. I got a wedding photographer and I wanted to tell everyone. But I was like, oh, I need to leave a post up about my class. It works for my business. But you better believe I went to my fan page and put up a post about my wedding photographer. I couldn't hold it back. But that was my post there for the day. And in Twitter, I would suggest even doing more than once a day. Here's a great tool. I will type it into the box. And here we go. www.socialumph.com. That's OOMPH.com. You can sign up for an account there. It will post to Twitter, and it will automate. So you can choose the time of the day that you want it. You can save drafts on it, so you can use some things over and over. Some pieces of information you'll want to continue to give out. There are multiple things you can do, and the free access is wonderful. So start writing. If you only tweet once a week, you're just not going to get traction. It's like if you had a store and you put one ad in a newspaper once a year. It just gets, and it's like a 1 inch by 1 inch ad. You need to have more information that's out there. So there are some quick tips about information that I think is key. And here's the deal. You can try to prove me wrong if you want to. You can absolutely do something different. That's totally cool. I totally get it. And even the question came from Unique Scrubs, and I have to say, you have the cutest logo in the world. So you might want to keep it, but you also might want to change it, because if somebody sees that cute little heart with the stethoscope wrapped around it, it may not register to them that they need new scrubs to work in their dental office, or they need new scrubs for somewhere else. So until you're huge, I think what you want to do is make it as easy as possible to for people to understand what you're doing, and that visual is such a big deal, and it goes in on a psychological level. We could go on and talk about your photos also, because I think there are huge important things to think about photos, but this is the next piece that I'm going to recommend for this week, and I swear to goodness this may be the most profitable piece that I have to to say today. I need you all to get interacting with one another. The group that we are forming here, the community that we're forming here, is so much stronger than if you go out and try to even find 5 raving fans. I did a free Q&A call this past weekend, and in the middle of it I said, you know, the group of us could make 100,000 in a month. And I thought, that's absolutely true. And for my class, we should be banging out the bucks. So, you all need to go to each other's pages, put up heartfelt messages that say, you're in Lindsay's class with me. It's so exciting to see you. I love your profile picture. Or you're in Lindsay's class with me. I have a question about my profile picture. Can you take a look at it? Now, what you'll want to do is keep the interaction that is not really that exciting to your target market on the forum, because they don't need to see all of the inner workings. Like, I don't need to post up there today, you know, like, sent my 3 o'clock report into somebody. Nobody really cares about that. But in the beginning, when you're starting a business and when you're asking for input, like, how do you like my profile pic? What do you think about that? Your target market is also going to get in that conversation and tell you exactly what you should have up there, and that is freaking priceless. I had headshots taken in New York that I thought were gorgeous. It was my profile pic for a very long time. And then one day, I went and got my hair and my makeup done before an event, sat in my car while I was waiting for my friend, and took a picture, like, with my camera out in front of me, sitting there, and put it up on Facebook. People were freaking out about how much they love that picture. That picture is now everything. I use it in my Facebook ads. I bought a 6-foot banner for a vendor table with my face on it. My business cards all have my face on it. I would have never, I couldn't even see what I was shooting. It was in the dark. I can't believe the picture came out. And the headshots I thought would absolutely be the thing. But, you know, the other thing too, and this is just to give you the inner workings, so understand that you all don't need to go get glasses. I had accidentally had on my glasses that evening, and there is something about the people will notice me. Like, I'll go places with 3,000 people, somebody will come up with me and be like, "You're Lindsay, right?" I couldn't mistake you because of the glasses. So I think that the glasses probably fit my brand. I'm pretty intelligent. I think that may be what is, I don't even know, but I just know that people have responded to it. So get out there, start interacting with each other, start liking what each other are saying or doing, and then the next piece is start to get to know each other's target markets. So now we're going to slip into target market, and I know I said last week we'd talk more about sales strategy, and absolutely we're going to do that. So have your goals ready, and I'm just going to give a little bit more feedback on goals. I love you all, and I think that most of you don't have concise enough goals. Like, if I were Gordon Ramsay and I were going to jump in your business for the week, I wouldn't know, based on what you've written as the goal, how to get that done. And here's the other important piece of that. If when I'm on the forum looking at your goal, I don't really understand how I can help as one of your fellow class members or as Lindsay, you're isolated and sort of on a little life raft out in the ocean by yourself. If you say, I need 20 people to sign up for my new program that starts on the 15th of June that is about how to chop up Macintosh apples. Anyone who knows someone who needs to, I mean, I know that's ridiculous, but you've given so many precise things. You've given boundaries, you've given 20 people, you've given a date to it, you've given a specific topic to it. If I said, I need people who I can help with social media, does that give you a good idea of what I really mean? Well, sort of, but it's not going to, like, stick in your head so the next day when your friend says, I spent 5 hours on social media yesterday and I am not making any money. It is such a waste of time. If I say to you, I need people who want to learn how to make sales from social media, that starts to narrow it down. And even using myself as example, like massive sales via social media, that even narrows it more. And so what we're really looking for is, I really feel like a lot of you have goals that are sort of at the top of the funnel. And if nothing else, if you come out of this class with the ability to make solid, hardcore goals that are achievable and create the energy so that it can be met, this class will have way, way, way paid for itself. So I'm just going to ask you, start giving each other feedback on goals. And it needs to be so concise and tight that I can refer my friends to it. At this point, there are some goals like that, but I would even say, and I'm really stretching you all, but I'm not just talking about like these are the goals that you have. I understand there are goals that all of us have, that, and here I'm going to use a specific, and this is for the forum and not for general consumption in social media. So don't go out there and say that this is Lindsay's goal on my Facebook page. I will delete it in 5 seconds flat. But transparency is the name of the game. You all need to understand. So I think that this is the best way that I can explain it to you. I'm getting married. I would like to spend $5,000 on my wedding in the Midwest. It's a very small town. We're also doing a party here in Los Angeles. It's just something that would make my life easier and wonderful, and I think is probably doable. It's a good measure of what can go into that. It can be different than that, yes, but it's really, I would feel good at the end of the day if I do that. Now, I want a wedding that's beautiful. I want a wedding that is soulful. I want a wedding that is sweet. I want a wedding that is experiential. I want people to be, you know, like I want the little kids to walk down in the procession together with magic wands and fairy wings and loving each other and, you know, like all of these things. That's all great. That is absolutely part of my goal. Actually, it's an unbreakable part of my goal. I could have it in a field or on a sidewalk if it were heartfelt, and that's even more important, quite frankly, than the money. But in terms of if we're looking at sales goals, which is what you all came here for, how to make sales via social media, it needs to be measurable in that way. So that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to look at the chat and see if anyone is freaking out. Do I need a DJ? That's hysterical. That's lovely, and you can certainly ask me if I need a DJ on my... Oh, I'm so sorry. I turned off the links. So let me put the www, that's how we say it in Missouri, where I'm from. Socialoomph.com. There you go. Sorry about that. Perfect. So, thank you all. Yes, and Hootsuite as well. That's absolutely, and absolutely, you can get a VA to post from there. So, great. So, target market, here's the deal, and we're going to go through this pretty concisely and quickly, and you may want to listen to the replay. And here's the thing. If you're looking to, like, I'm exercising and working out. I have a gown to fit in, you know, like 15 weeks. Now, I could take long, leisurely walks. I could simply, like, cut out the banana splits in my life. I could, like, all of those things absolutely are in the right vein. At 15 weeks, am I going to be ready for that dress? Probably not as much as if I actually learn how to sprint, which my person told me to do today, which I don't really love doing. But I'll do it. So when you're looking at target market, what we're looking for is the way for you to get in that wedding gown. I'm not looking, I mean, we can talk target market until you're blue in the face, but here are the tricks and here are the things to know about your target market. Number one, who has purchased from you? And if no one's purchased from you, if you're brand new, I said this last week and I'll say it again because I keep thinking that it's the truth. Just give your product or service to someone for free who is someone with a big, big realm of people they talk to. Perhaps they have a large social media presence. Get them to do a testimonial. Try to get it on video if you can. Your business will amp up immediately. So, target market is someone who has used and loved and or purchased from you. Take a look at them. Write them down on paper. See what the common threads are. And I am surprised that a lot of women respond to what I'm talking about. It sort of blew me away that a lot of women were clients, and one day I was like, I really don't have that many men that are clients. And then I was sort of able to start to understand what was going on there, but just from looking at that. Now, it's not always going to be about, like, it's a woman, she's a certain age, she has a certain kind of income. what I really want you to do is create a story about who this woman is. Now, a lot of times, quite frankly, our target market is ourselves, but just a few steps behind us. If you're in the transformational business, that's most likely true. You've just learned how to make $1 million in a week, so you're ready to show people how to make $1 million in a week. And most likely at one point you couldn't make $1 million in a week. So that's your target market. Do not go from thinking about it. I really want you to go from the cold, hard facts of who has actually given you what you want. And I will say goals are not just about money. We're talking about sales here. It could be a multitude of other things. If you're trying to solve world peace, I totally want to work with you, and I'm so thrilled that you're on this, and there are a million things we can do to work towards that together. However, if we're looking at bottom line dollars and cents, all the people that you think should buy your product, or all the people that are on your fan or your like page, or all the people who say they're going to buy your product, we're not talking about them. Because when you look specifically at who is taking what you have to offer, then you are going to get a slew of information back about your product. And we'll be talking more about that next week when we talk about how your target market can tell you exactly what to sell, how to package it, what to call it, etc., which is really exciting. But for now, and some of this can be really uncomfortable, you may realize, oh my gosh, my sales suck. That's great. That's where we want to start. These first couple of weeks are absolutely about being in reality. Here's some other tips for figuring out about your target market. Throw it up on your Facebook page and say, who do you think my target market is? Another brilliant thing you can do is ask people, what are the 3 words that represent my brand? If you're even brave enough, if you've got people who thought about purchasing from you and didn't, you can call them and ask them why they didn't purchase. A lot of times they'll give you feedback that you will need. You will change your programs and your products to meet their needs, and they will buy from you. Informational interviews are one of the smartest things I can recommend. The people you're asking what they think of your stuff, don't just ask them if they liked it or hated it. You also need to ask the third thing about any suggestions they would give. Those people are going to buy from you. That time is so well spent. The information you can mine from being in social media is astounding, astounding, astounding. So, once you've figured out who your target market is, and that's a process, and also some people really find that there's some resistance there. And I don't want who you think your target market is. I want everyone, after they've gotten off this, after they've listened to the recording, to write a list of who has actually purchased. I don't want a canned response, because your target market will blow your mind when you really see who they are, and they will change as you change. And if your sales are stagnant, you'll find sometimes that who was your target market is not your target market anymore. My target market has changed dramatically in the past 2 months. Somehow I've started talking about spirituality a little bit during social media stuff, and I have amazing, amazing, amazing spiritual teachers coming to me and asking me for my services. I could not have wished for it more. I would have never thought in a million years anyone would be interested in like the spirituality of social media. And it's absolutely coming to me. But that's because I'm not only talking, I'm also listening, and you need to be doing that in social media. So, once you've figured out like who is my target market, and let's say my target market is Marvin. I have figured out like this is what Marvin eats for breakfast. Marvin has a dog. Marvin does this for dinner. Marvin likes these kind of movies. It's actually an amazing creative process, and that's what I really want from you. And please throw that on the forum. I know it'll take a little bit of time, but it could take 5 minutes. Just talk about the ins and what kind of socks does Marvin wear? Who does Marvin shop from when he's not shopping from you? What is Marvin's pain? What is Marvin's dark secret that he tells no one? What is Marvin's nightmares about? What does Marvin, what is his deepest dream in life? And all of those sorts of things will start to give you ways to go find your target market. This is the key in social media. It is not about waiting for your target market to come find you. All of a sudden, you have millions of people who are waiting for you to find them. So, Once I've figured out, and let me use something, because Marvin, I got to tell you, is a horrible idea. So let me, oh, someone lives in Missouri, that's really funny. What is important to know about after you've figured out who your target market is? And let me see. Okay, so I've got a perfect person in my mind for my target market. Then what I want to do is most likely see, where is this person in pain? And if I know that this person has wealth consciousness issues, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on Facebook and I'm going to go to the Think and Grow Rich group. And I'm going to look around. And it is not about friending everyone on the Think and Grow Rich page. You can have a bazillion members on your pages and it will not matter. It is about finding someone there who needs your help. And you'll find that people will be there talking about exactly what they need from you. So for instance, if you are Unique Scrubs, most likely it's going to be people who need to buy scrubs. So you can go to a page of, you know, like a professional page where it's all people who are talking about conferences and that kind of thing. Probably won't be exactly your market, but you can start to even search in the search box dental hygiene assistants. And if that is in the name of someone's profession, it will start to pop it up. To do this well, it takes a little bit of time. If you're just friending people and they're like, I make scrubs myself, that's not your target market. But if you're finding people with the pain that you are there to alleviate, you want to get into conversation with those people. So look at where they eat dinner. Look at that page. Look at where they buy their roller skates. Look at that page. Look at where they go to church. Look at where they start browsing around on different groups, and you'll find also that some, they absolutely have different personalities. I can find 10 fibromyalgia groups on Facebook or on LinkedIn, or that have the word fibromyalgia on Twitter. They are not all my target market if I am someone who deals with fibromyalgia. There are people that respond to my passion, respond to what I offer. It might be something that's more about holistic fibromyalgia. It might be something that's more about doctors and medicine for fibromyalgia. It might be about social activism for fibromyalgia. So you are like a detective, and I will say this a lot. And once you find your sweet spot, you will find a place where there are 10,000 people who all want what you have to offer. But you can't give up before you find your sweet spot. It takes a little bit of work. If you have a VA who's working on these things for you, go through, pull the links of 10 different organizations that you have found that actually work, and then ask them to friend those folks. Ask them to follow those folks. You don't have to do all of the clicking all day. Again, as I mentioned prior, VAs are abundant. And we talked about Odesk, and that's a great place to go. So once you have started to find your target market, then this is what's key in terms of setting us up for the next thing. This is the best sales tip I know, and I used to teach this to people in real estate all the time. You must bond with your potential clients. Bonding is about them. It is not about you. And you do not pass go, you do not collect $200 until you have bonded. So, if I find someone who has some wealth consciousness barriers on Think and Grow Rich, and then I look at their profile and I go, wow, they have a company. I can see on the info tab that they have a website, so they're meaning to sell things. And then I look on their page and they're never posting anything that's linked about their business. Then I go, wow, that might be a target market person for me. So what you want to do is this, and there are two ways of looking at this, and I tend to look at it like this. I was amazed after a free call I did recently. Someone called me and met with me, and they said, you know, when you said that what people really want is love, that's why we called this meeting here with you today. And I was like, wow, I can't, you know, like, it's brilliant to be in touch with your target market. I just want to say that all the time. I'm a little self-conscious about it, and so I haven't quite gotten it yet, but now that I've said it, I'll probably be better. And so that's what they're looking for. So when you start to bond with them, what it looks like is this. You find them on a page. You find that they have the pain that you might be able to relieve. Or you just find that you love them and they're really dynamic and funny and fun. Or you think they are posting all over everyone's pages, liking everything. They'd be a great member of my 5 raving fans that I need to have that says everything I do is wonderful. Go to their page, read some of their things, get to know them a little bit. Do not simply post something for yourself on your page. And this is something that is, I will tell you this, and I believe this strongly. I believe this really strongly. If someone friends you, don't go on their page and put a link to your site and say, oh, I'm so happy you friended me. Please look at my social media services for sale. If you have questions about how to do social media well, you can also certainly watch my page and see how I interact with other people. I am not perfect, and you are. It would be a joy if in the forum you were like, Lindsay, this post really stank. What was up with that? I am more than happy to dissect that for you. I will never, ever, 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 I've never done it, because it doesn't work. That's why you don't do it. So you go on their page, and if we're talking about the person that I was talking about as my target market, I would perhaps go to their page and say, even honestly, what I would do, because bonding is just like if you see a guy across the room, you're probably not going to stomp over and be like, I'm in love with you. You're probably going to take it a little bit slower. So let's think about it that way. A lot of times sales is like dating. I would probably just comment after them in a thread on the Think and Grow Rich page. And if they say, wow, I really struggle with getting this in my business, and I'm working really hard on it. When we talk about psychographics, someone who's talking like that is someone I know I want to work with because they're working really hard. Because people who don't work really hard on stuff are not going to be the people who are going to really do well with me. It's not what I deliver. So I would then post after that something authentically me, something that absolutely comes from my voice, and I would probably post something like, yay for you. I know it was such a struggle when I was in this process. I just want to let you know that there's hope, and even if you want to take it another layer, for me it would be authentic to say, if you ever need support, feel free to let me know. I am very heartfelt and very social and very out there, and somebody who's struggling with Think and Grow Rich, I would be more than happy to chat with. But it needs to be authentic. So if you're just going to go out there and copy exactly what I said and say, let me know if you ever need help with whatever, if that doesn't feel real for you yet, don't do that yet. Just, you can say, I understand. Then you can start a relationship with them on their page about different things. And quite frankly, a great way to get sales going, and you know, this is funny because we're talking about Think and Grow Rich, but I have to say in my experience, doing things like offering people half-hour free consultations if I've seen that they're my target audience. I'm not going to post on my page, free 30-minute social media session for anyone, because a lot of people would love to have that, and I'd love to do it for them, and I can't do that. It just will not make sense. If I don't pay my bills and pay for my wedding, I'm not going to have a social media company. Kidding. I hate being transparent. That's a quotable one that you can put on your page with my name on it if you want to. Though that probably wouldn't help your business, actually. Except for the fact that I've got 10,000 people who follow me and see what I'm doing, and they might be interested in being your friend. So, you know, if you can't think of any other post, you could do that. So start a relationship with them. Start going back and forth with them. And then what I would do, especially if you're in like coaching or transformation or sexuality or anything that somebody probably doesn't want their friends to see on their page, like they may not say on their page, I struggle with money. They may not want their mother and father to know that. They may not want their best friends to know it, but they may be on this other page talking about it. So I would send them a private message and say, you know what, I really like you, and I'm in social media, and I noticed you have such a cool company. Would you like a free 30-minute consultation? Now, a lot of these things are not going to be things that you're going to do all the time. We're talking about generating sales if sales are not coming in. So me, in the middle of my business, now not having time to offer people 30-minute consultations, I will actually do something more like this. For instance, when I see people get hacked, I think I've used this example before, I will send them an email and I say, "You've been hacked, can I help?" And that's a great way to start to get in the conversation, and it's a very easy tip. You just need to change your passwords, and sometimes there's a little bit more to it, but I don't have to have a lengthy conversation. I'm providing service, I'm providing value. It is an economy of giving. That's where we are with things. It just is the way it works. So if you're brave, you could even put that on their page, you know? I can help you. Then all their friends can see that also. But you really want to establish relationship. And what's required in that is this. If there's a guy all the way across the room that you want to date, and you look at him and he doesn't look back at you, you might look like 2 more times, but if he's not catching your eye and you can feel the energy's not there, you're not going to walk over to him and start talking. Same rules with social media. There are going to be some people who respond to what you do and some people who don't. And the truth is, you don't need that many who do. And birds of a feather, that person probably has 5 other people that are the perfect target market for you. So what you're looking for, and not to use that horrible Marvin idea again, but you this week need to find Marvin. And it needs to, some of them, you'll be wrong about the movie that he watches. You'll be wrong about other things. But this is just about getting the energy up and out there. If you think about, like, who are the people who need me? Those are the people you want to go friend and you want to go talk to. It's honest. It's sincere. And then at some point on their page when they say, "I hate my scrubs. The dog chewed up my scrubs again. My kid puked on my scrubs again. My scrubs are freaking driving me nuts." Then you can say, "Oh, you know what? Could you take a look at my scrub skirt?" Which is one of the items that someone in our class offers. How freaking cool is that? My sister was in dentistry for a long time. Buying scrubs was a horrible thing. You can have a scrub skirt? I didn't even know. Like, that's so cool. And what you want to do also, and this is a key thing in terms of sales, and some of these techniques we will visit and revisit and revisit and revisit. So if it doesn't make sense innately now, it's okay, because it's going to, because it's the same process over and over. It's like love them, love them, love them. And if they're not giving back to you, get out of there and find someone who needs the love you're providing. So the other piece that I would say is, you need things to warm up. You need to find yeses. Don't find nos. Whenever I do a sale, I won't push it to the point where somebody says no. I'll be on the phone with someone for one of my large packages and they'll seem apprehensive or not quite sure. I keep asking questions and keep taking them down the trail of where they would go in order to take me on as a service provider, until I get the distinct feeling that the next answer is a no. And then I say, why don't you think about it? Because if someone hasn't said no, there's always opportunity for a yes. So you look at the guy across the room, he makes eye contact on the second time with you. You wish he would come over, he's not coming over. You really want to meet him, you walk halfway. He turns his head away and then puts his arm around another girl and kisses her. You understand what was happening and you don't keep going. But keep getting yeses. So perhaps she says something about her scrubs and blah, blah, blah. And there's also a confidence that needs to be developed with this. It's the idea that if you feel needy or desperate, then people can absolutely, and they can smell it. You're never going to sell something when you feel needy or desperate. It won't happen. So if it feels like, oh, I'm so pushing out of my comfort zone, then what you would say in the next post, or you could even post on her wall, "Hey, can I ask you a question? Will you take a look at my scrub skirt and see what you think?" And that's genuine, and that gets the conversation going. It is the same thing as if someone comes into the store, you don't say, "Buy my book, buy my book." You say, "Hi." Or some people in New York, when they come in, are so reserved and offstandish that you, out of respect, won't even say hello to them. Just a small nod. It needs to be based on the other person. The other person is leading the dance. The other person is leading this relationship. You need to find out. And here's the thing. If you put something on their page and they don't even want to take a look at your scrub skirt, they're not your target market, and you go find someone somewhere else. But the deal is, as we start to refine this, and we'll be talking from week to week. Next week, we're going to talk about the funnel of how you take the target market where you are and get them to a narrower. Because I will tell you, and this is probably really helpful, I know, I can tell you in like 2 seconds flat if somebody's going to work with me or not. And the way that I can tell is if someone wants to change. Huge client I've been looking at landing. Huge client who desperately needs me. Like, you can't even believe how much they need my social media help. They don't want it. They don't want it. They're not ready to change. The way that we got in touch with each other was not a, I need your help, Lindsay. So the deal is, I let them go. I go find new people. There are plenty of people out there who need you, and it is your responsibility to be in touch with them. People always say sales is service. It really is. Sales is service. And if you think it's anything else, you are so sadly mistaken. So sadly mistaken. So, oh my gosh, I could talk for 89 hours about these things. But we did say we'd talk about sales strategy, and I just want to make sure that I have covered what I put down. Yeah, I'm going to say it again because this is key. And this is how I'm going to measure if you all are doing your work or not. I want to see you all interacting with each other in social media this week. I'm going to check the screen to see if I can get some okays to that. I want to see you all chatting each other up. Do you know that the target market that's represented here from all of you all is probably, I mean, I don't even know. Let's see. Like 100,000 people. 100,000. So someone that's in this class, you absolutely could be in touch with, and they sell something that's entirely different than what you sell, and their target market is hungry for you also. When we talk about thinking up, you have a unique opportunity in this class which is so important for you to take advantage of, that each person brings such a huge amount of people with them that you need to be in touch with them, you need to be bonding with them. You can, you know, on their page, don't say, who's your target market? Like, that's not something, and I just keep thinking of the store analogy, or how you would deal with people in other businesses. Like, if you wanted to do business with another business, if this was before social media, and you called them on the phone and you were like, you know, I see you have a hair salon, I have a nail salon. Maybe we could send each other customers. That would be an appropriate way to do it. I wouldn't call someone and say, who's your target market? And what we're realizing is that this is absolutely about language and the energy you put into it and the bonding. And that abso-freaking-lutely is what sales is about. And it, I will tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt, if you're looking for huge sales, it is prolifically what high-end sales is about. It's about nuances. It's about the nod when someone walks in the door of the store. It's about providing amazing attention and service. It is all about human interaction, psychology, and those sorts of things. Sales is not about you send out 5 million emails and you have an open rate of a teeny percent, and maybe like 1 out of every 500 emails you send out someone opens, and maybe 1 out of every 1,000 emails you send out someone buys. There are people, I could take any one of you and sell something for you tonight on social media by bonding with someone. And you start with bonding, and we will talk through all the other pieces, but if you don't get this one right, it is not going to work. You need to bond, bond, bond. So this week I want to hear great stories about, oh my gosh, I have the nicest relationship with someone who wears the sneakers of who I think my avatar client is. She also talked about getting an inheritance from her grandmother, so I know she can afford me. And I haven't even talked about my product yet. That's fine. We really want you doing that. We really, really want you doing that. And the first way to practice with you all is to practice with each other. So make sure you go in the forum, and even I'm gonna let you cheat a little bit, because you all must be interacting with each other on social media this week if you're wanting to make massive sales. If you miss this boat, it's gonna be, I mean, it's a freaking easy boat. So just jump on this boat. I'm gonna make it really easy now. So people, grab your links go to Twitter. Grab your link. I'll show you exactly how to do it. We want to make this easy. This is another trick that is crucial in terms of how you do things in social media. You don't want me to put the second thing I'm going to put. That's a clickable link. You can find me on social media like that. If I do this, which people understand means Twitter, you can't click it. If I do I'm Lindsay Wilson, none of that works. Make it a clickable link. So go to your Facebook page, just go up to the bar, copy and paste, throw it in here. And we've got 5 minutes left. Just start throwing your links up there. Then people can easily click it, can friend you, and can get going on this. You really want to be bonding with each other. And yes, we've already done it in the forum, but I'm telling you, I know there's probably a delay on the Ustream chat, but not that much. Put your links up there. Put your links up there. It's going to be the way that you all get in touch with one another. Julia, I see your question. When someone posts their link right after you befriend them, should you delete it? Yes. It's your store. Do you want someone else's ads on the wall? No. Probably not your target market, because they don't really get the etiquette of social media. I mean, maybe they are, but if they're trying to sell something, if they're so excited that you are friends that they're going to put their link on your page, I almost thought you said, can you unfriend them? I was like, that would be an advanced strategy. You could. I don't know if I would do that. They may just not know. A lot of social media is etiquette that people don't understand. I love it. Thank you all for throwing your links up here. And it looks like the first link that we have didn't work. I wish I had your all's names. Maybe I'm going to suggest in the chat that you all put your names in. So Shantarishi, your link, I think you weren't signed in, and so it probably didn't go through. And here's, yeah, because it just goes to the login page, so you need to log in and then grab your link. And here's, I'm going to show you all like total transparency. So finding my links on my social media is a pain in the rear end for me. I can't ever freaking get it to work. It annoys me to no end. It is my job. It's what I do all day. And the tech piece of things, you know what? It's something that can be figured out. And if you can't figure out how to get your link up here right now, put it in the forum and I will help you figure out what your link is. But where people get stopped consistently in social media is this. They go, I couldn't figure it out. I'm not asking for help. Like, I'm out of here. I'm not doing it. And that is not going to get you sales. Just ask for help. Just ask for help. The people in this class will help you. You get conversations going on your page. If you all are posting every day, here's the other thing I want to say. And yes, there is a place on Ning where all of this stuff, it's in one of the forum links. So absolutely. Absolutely. You can find it there, but I'm giving you an easy way to get this going tonight. There's no excuse for you not to be tweeting people. Just post on their page. It was great having you in class. I feel so brave I posted on your page. I like you. Or cute picture. Or get to know the people in your class. Go look at the pictures of their kids. Some of you all have the most amazing missions in the world. And this is even the challenge level I'm going to give you. That when you go to people's pages and you can't find anything that pulls at your heartstrings because they haven't put anything that pulls at their heartstrings out, or you can't find anything about their business, if you can't find their passion and you can't find their business, go into the forum and let them know, because very often we don't know. We can't see it for ourselves. Be good friends to each other. From the get-go I said I will challenge you, and here's a piece. But if you go to someone's page and you cannot tell what they're in business for, even you can just message them if you want to. If it feels like, oh, I can't post that on the forum. But in order to make money, in order to have sales, you absolutely need to be open to this kind of input. This stuff will change your freaking life. It will absolutely change the way that you are doing in social media. So I can't believe that we only have 1 minute left. Sales strategy, I said we would cover more today. The key thing to know is refine your goal. I want it to be like under 12 words. I want it to be like full of action and passion and like a palpable, like I am Rocky and I want to beat this guy in the ring, or I need to pay my rent, so I need to make this many dollars. Like whatever it is, and you don't have to be that transparent, but you could be. Like, let us help you. Let us be fired up by your goal. And then once you start to look at your target market, you know, sales strategy is even going to continue next week, because what we're going to talk about is dealing with your target market and how to find what to sell, how to price it, how to package it. And if you're giving people what they need, then your sales will skyrocket. So, I know that I have one more quick thing to think, and I cannot recall what it is. So, I will say, I'll be posting in the forum when our Q&A is. I know people had some troubles with scheduling. I didn't receive a majority of people who said that Wednesday didn't work. I don't know if that's because I didn't get feedback, but I did specifically ask for it last week. And since I didn't receive it, then what I will do is do Q&As on nights that are not on Wednesday nights, so other folks are able to meet them. That feels like fair and good compromise to me. And what else can I say? What else can I say? This is what I was going to say. So here's your challenge. People are freaking excited about my wedding. That's lovely, and of course they're going to be excited about someone's wedding. And you know, I post like the little country church we're getting married in. My friends in LA are like, oh my gosh. My friends at home are like, that's down the street. My friends in New York are like, I'm coming. You know, so it gives people a lot of stuff to interact on. But I want you to take a look at my page, and I have too many friends, but I want to fit you all in. So if you get that I have too many friends on the Ning site, just let me know and I'll work that out so I can friend you, because I think it's important for you all to see what's happening there. I'm getting like 30 responses a day. Responses that are written, responses that are just likes. That is the Mount Everest of where you want to be in social media. You want to, whenever you post, at least get 3 interactions. And even more so than people liking it, you want them to be answering and talking about it, unless it's strategic. You want your tweets to start being retweeted. If they're not retweeted by people, and you've got either a lot of good friends or you're following a load of people, then you must rewrite your retweets or your tweets, because they're not retweetable. People aren't finding them interesting. That's why it's not working. And I'm going to even freak it. I'm going to give you one more tool that's really, really good. If you need to find more people in social media, for Twitter, tweepml.org. That's tweepml.org. You go, you enter a keyword, and you can follow everyone who is a mom who blogs that are in those lists. It's a huge way to build what you're doing. Now, there are also lists that are like follow for follow, and that means those people will follow you, which is nice, but I would not worry about that right now, because it's people who are going to follow you who are going to spam you until you're blue in the face. It doesn't really present any value. But we want to start to get your numbers up. You need like a certain threshold so that then more people start friending you, more people start following you, more people, it's a little bit. The Twitter link, yes, it is what I just posted. That's tweepml. It's the link I just posted, .org, O-R-G. So, start friending people. Start finding your target market. Start getting it going. You need a certain what's it called? I know Paul would know, my fiance. Mass quantity or something, something. You know, you need a certain level of folks knowing you so that you can get traction. And traction I will talk about loads. So, well, this was a content-rich class, and I loved it and enjoyed it. And I will also say that this is often what starts to come up in people. It's a very easy time to start to get overwhelmed, to start to have 5 million questions, to start to think, oh, I don't want to do the work in this class. Don't. Me to get in that wedding dress is going to take work. Me sitting around complaining about it, thinking about it, or even better yet, okay, this will be really helpful. And I hope that you understand that I'm using that as an analogy exactly for what you're doing, because I think it's an analogy that makes a lot of sense. This is a well thought out strategic sales thing that I'm doing by sharing these things. So yesterday my fiance had a cold, and I was like, I'm sneezing a little bit. It's like, maybe I'll ask, and I just, you know what, I've tried not to say Erin Huggins 5 times, but Erin Huggins is who I train with. That's what happens in social media. Like, you'll hear me sing her praises because I freaking love her. And so yesterday I was going to post on her wall, which I knew would be good for her business and would have been horribly transparent for me. Do I have to work out if maybe I'm getting a cold? And you know what? I could have stayed in that place all day. I just needed to work out. So if the questions are stopping you, that's something underneath that's about fear, it's about sabotage, or some questions certainly can be crucial, but I want you to take a look at, do I have to have this question answered to meet my 90-day goal? I'm going to tell you a lot of the time you don't. And really what you want to spend your energy doing is taking the exact actions that you need to in order to reach that 90-day goal. So you know what? I shared Tweep and Melon. I'm going to give you one more assignment. Critical mass. Thank you. Critical mass. Here's another assignment. I need you to write down the 3 steps you need to take to meet that goal. And it's okay if you don't know what they are. Sometimes at the beginning, and so you can just even brainstorm it. And even, you know what, here's a shout out to David Nagel. He does a 3-3-3 exercise, which you take a piece of paper, and I realize we're a couple seconds over. You can go off if you need to, but I love this exercise. You take a piece of paper, you draw a line down the center. You write your goal at the top. On the right-hand side of the page, you brainstorm every freaking possible way to reach that goal. Each time you think of a way to reach that goal, you're going to have some negative come up. Like, I want to spend $5,000 on my wedding in Missouri. And so what are ways that I can do that? Well, I can, in the Midwest, things are less pricey than here. So maybe I can like shop for some things in the Midwest or something. And then what comes up in my mind is the photographer is so much more money than I expected. And that goes on the left side. And then I go, okay, so what's another idea about how I can do this? I could have people bring potluck dinner. I'm never going to do that. It would probably be really awesome, but I just won't do that. It'd be hard to carry dishes to a church and stuff. So I keep putting all the positive things, and all the negative things I put on the other side. Then, once you have exhausted everything, I mean, you need to, for this wedding, I would, ask the minister to do it for in trade for social media services. I would drive there instead of fly. I would, you really need to exhaust it. And then what you do, you cross out the left-hand side of the page with all the negative thinking, and you just start taking action on the right-hand side. And he guarantees you'll meet your goal that way. I have not found him to be wrong. So, it was based on an exercise that Bob Proctor did, and I can't even tell you more than that, but they needed to raise $3 million in 3 hours with 3 people or something is where the 3-3-3 comes from. So, stay focused on your goal, write it on a piece of paper, put it on your computer. Every moment that you are stumped or struggling or resistant, you have a huge community of people, including me, who can get you through that. There is no reason that you cannot succeed. Are we invested in each other succeeding? I'm going to let you all put some answers up there on that one, because I think that's another important thing also. I'm invested in you all succeeding. I'm invested in my contemporaries succeeding. I want everybody to succeed that can. I'm waiting a couple more minutes. Yeah, I love it. That's right. Yeah, don't you all want each other to succeed? I read something recently that said the average of the 5 people you spend time with the most, the average of their incomes will be your yearly income. So it financially makes sense for you to want each other to succeed. Yep. Yep. So get out there. Do the homework. I'll finish the homework from last week also, but start interacting with each other. I want to see, I am dying to retweet you all. I am so much wanting to say great things on your pages. And experiment with things. Be transparent. Ask each other questions. Be heartfelt. If you are heartfelt, it doesn't even really matter what you're saying. People are going to respond. So, it's been a fabulous evening. I will post the information about the upcoming Q&A. I look forward to being with you all next Wednesday. The login, sign-in, everything information is always the same for your ease week to week. And yeah, let's get going on the target market. It is luscious. It is such a treat to realize the people who need you. It is so profound. It is such a big thing to put a name and a face, and it is so exciting for that to change all the time. How much do I love that my target market is totally different than what I thought it was even 2 weeks ago. It's fabulous. What great information for me. So there we go. I could stay forever. I've gone over. I apologize. But I will see you again next week. Until then, have an awesome time. And you can do this stuff. You can do it. I know it. And I can't wait to see you do it. Okay. Bye.